When you first hear that diagnosis, your world stops for a moment. But Red's doctors and medical team at Georgetown were very positive that there were many resources available to us. We had a lot of questions, and one of the resources that we reached out to was Insight.
We had the benefit of a very dear friend, close friend of ours, going through something similar to this. And I think absent that, we may have been later in coming to grips and recognition of where we were.
You know, that first contact I remember with Insight was probably the hardest call I've ever had to make, because it makes the reality of the diagnosis very real. From that very first day, I feel like they've been a part of our care team. And while we don't really look forward to what's coming in the future, we know that we'll have Insight on our side, and that just means everything to us. I also remember recently when our grandson was here and Red was going over some of his pre-materials, and he, our grandson was a little stumped even at some of the questions, and Red was proudly telling him the ones that he had already researched and found the answers to. So it's a good activity that we actually share with our family and our friends. And that you have a plan in place was something that really worked for us in the way that we wanted to approach this, including how we wanted to talk with our family and our friends about the diagnosis, making sure we had the right financial and legal safeguards in place, and how to communicate with each other. It might have even been better than marriage counseling.
Better to get started early rather than late. And maybe it's difficult to identify at first that you have a problem, but you shouldn't put it in the back of your mind. If you think there's something there, take a sense at it, and then go talk to the doctor and see if they can get some advice from them as to, are you ready to start the journey? Because it doesn't go away.
So we have good days, and we have days that aren't so good. The thing that we found to be important is to sort of name it, and on those bad days, we say that the diagnosis is here with us today, and we don't pretend that it's not happening. And I think that's so critical for many families. They want to pretend that this isn't occurring, and it is. And it's an insidious disease, but it's here with us. The work that Insight has done with us has given us sort of the ability to know that we can live life now and still have a future.
That's, to me, what Insight has been so helpful on. Not only was I diagnosed with the problem, but they then start to give you the tools and the insights on how to go about addressing these, and put you in an environment where you don't feel like you're alone. The staff recognizes that we're all at different stages when we're together, and the program development and the way that staff interacts with those of us that sit around the table is very caring, very thoughtfully put together, and I have found it's just one of the great experiences I've had throughout my entire life, was to see that something like this actually existed that would help on something that you weren't certain about, you didn't know what you'd do on your own, and lo and behold, Insight had the answer.